Hello, everybody, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Thursday, March 22nd, 2018. I am Michael Schwahn.
And I am Herbie Hind.
And I'm Adam Weinberg.
Please remember, everybody, you can help support this show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet, clicking that merchandise link in the show note description wherever you're at. And, of course, we do go live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time on Facebook and YouTube. And if you have stories you want us to talk about, send them to our subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/iRedditcast, or via email, which is iReddit@mjolnir.media. So, I totally missed what your name was today, sir. What is your name one more time?
Herbie Hind.
Ah.
Classy, right? Very classy.
Well, initially I was thinking Herbie the car. And
nope.
Then it just went,
That's what screwed me up when I said my name, was that I heard his and it comprehended right as I started talking.
Straight to PG-13.
Oh,
right
man.
to PG-13. Well, Mr. Behind, how are you today?
My tummy's upset because of lactose, and I'm kind of sleepy.
So I take it that you were wrong about no longer having that issue.
Yeah, I ended up drinking. I had missed my bus this morning, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just walk to the gas station and get something to drink. So I walk down there and I buy two of those coffee, chilled coffee things.
Sure.
And I mean, that's mostly just milk. So I drank both of them at work, and I feel fairly fucked up.
And got sad.
Good job,
Yeah.
friend.
Oh wow, Secret of the Ooze was released 27 years ago.
Yay? Is that a movie?
Yo, that was a fucking great movie.
It is a movie, okay.
Yeah, of course that's a movie.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, well, look at something else I didn't watch.
It's all right. At least you didn't watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, even though that's not actually the tagline.
I'm gonna giggle if he says he watched that.
No, I didn't. I didn't even watch Ninja Turtles, the show, when I was a kid.
You're literally the worst.
That's okay.
Did you know in Europe they weren't called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the longest time?
Yes, because ninjas were considered evil, so it was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Hero Turtles.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, because apparently ninja had a poor connotation in the area.
Can't imagine why.
I mean, they're literal assassins.
I blame the Shogun.
Have the
Of course you would blame the Shogun.
Have the turtles ever killed anybody?
Actually, when they first came about, they were training by Master Splinter specifically to murder Shredder.
Perfect. So why did they ever carry that through?
The original Turtles run was actually fairly graphic, but they've over time dulled it down for children.
Graphic like a Charmeleon cutting an Arbok in half?
Cutting an Arbok.
Yeah,
and then it wasn't in half, it was decapitating the Arbok.
It was pretty comic booky. A lot of people got, the first episode had a lot of blood in it, and they basically ask him, would you like to kill yourself, or would you like us to do it? And he, picks up a sword, and they're like, fine, we'll kill you, I guess. And then they all just, murder him. That's book one.
Ballin'.
It was created by Eastman and Laird for Underground Comics, and it was originally a parody of Daredevil.
Okay.
Which is why the ninja group in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the Foot Clan, because Daredevil fights against the Hand.
So, Mr. Weinberg, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Feeling the pains of a state that has no money. Also, we had
if only people paid their taxes,
Right. Also had the joyous thing of that an irresponsible trucker crashed into one of the bridges that connects one of three of the major cities to the main city here in Alaska, which shut down part of the only road to get here.
The funny part is that was yesterday or something.
Yeah, it was about 2 in the morning.
There's another accident that happened.
Oh.
Yeah, they actually had to fly a helicopter in to try and deal with that car accident, but the truck hitting the bridge was the big problem.
And the bridge is still damaged and crumbling, and they expect it to either fall or them have to remove it to put a new one in, which means that the not main arterial highway, the only highway, is shut down and is being rerouted through a neighborhood. So the 30,000 people, including somebody who works in my office that commute on that trip, didn't make it today.
It's taking 5 hours to get from one place to the other.
There are people that live in the neighborhood that they are being diverted through that to get to the store took them an hour.
My friend was messaging me earlier. He said, in the time it took, or the time it took for him to move a car's and a half length down the road was 40 minutes.
Nope.
So I'm just waiting because they've already said it's going to be like 1.6 million for the bridge already. Like,
there's a liberal leave policy at my work if we live out there, but unfortunately don't.
But I'm waiting to see the class action lawsuit from every single person that had to make that commute or decided to not come into work that day and lost a crap ton of money. I'm waiting to see all those people. Like, I will be amazed if the company who was, who contracted that trucker or whatever is still in business in 6 months. I will be impressed.
It baffles me.
I saw a picture on Facebook of a pregnant lady stuck there, who was on her way in for a doctor's visit.
That's horrible.
That's bad.
Good thing her water didn't break,
that doesn't actually happen nearly as much as the movies want you to believe. Like, the large majority of the time they break your water at the hospital.
Something that also is a little bit realistic in this case is how many of you guys have ever tried to go to work with kind of a low tank of gas expecting to get gas on the way? Imagine if it took you an extra couple hours to
like
get
5
to a gas
hours?
station. Yeah, to get to a gas station.
I'm sure it happened. I also, there was also the people on Facebook that are like, I'm real glad I left that water bottle in the back seat to relieve myself.
I mean, surely
she's not here right now, dude. She moved to Seattle with Mick.
I assume, huh?
I said she's not here right now. She moved to Seattle with Mick.
No, she moved with Max. There's a difference.
Whatever. They all moved together. I don't care.
So I was going to say, surely you don't need the water bottle. You can clearly just turn off your car, walk out, and take a piss.
I mean, if you don't move more than a car's length in 45 minutes, yeah, you could.
I mean, at the same time, I'm just imagining, that's a lot of cars that are about to be staring at your junk. There's probably not a good angle to not be noticed from that.
Yo, whatever. Indecent exposure is just a Class 2 felony.
I mean, you were the one who was talking about the other day that you wouldn't go walking around in your underwear because you still cared. So, wouldn't this still be the same thing?
Yeah, but it's different with people that you see on a regular. Those motherfuckers are all randoms. I'd probably walk out with my dick between...
I mean, after 5 hours of being within 2 feet of them, they're starting to become regular.
Yeah, you're friends at that point.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I've known people for 20 years that I'm still not friends with.
Like you, Adam.
That's fair.
Damn. No, that's not true. You're a good friend. We like you. Anyway, shall we actually talk about news now?
Yeah, sure.
Is that what this is about?
Yeah, normally.
Man.
5.
McDonald's becomes the first restaurant company to set approved science-based target to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
This was submitted by Mavia to our Futurology.
You should have just taken it as a guess and gotten it. I can't see the page. I'll say Mavia. It's right a solid 10% of the time.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
In any case, McDonald's is taking the pledge to reduce their greenhouse emissions by 2030, reducing their entire output by 36%. That is the same as removing 32 million vehicles off the road or planting 3.8 billion trees.
Okay.
Well.
Good on you, McDonald's.
It'll be equivalent to 150 million metric tons of emissions. My brain can't even really fathom that. I'm like, sure.
That's just such a huge number. Oh my God, that's almost at that point you're almost at imaginary numbers. It's like looking at Mark Zuckerberg's bank account.
It is imaginary numbers. Yeah. Zach says hi. Hi, Rachel, and hi, Zach. And I see that Zach's in the Facebook chat, so there's one on YouTube, one on Facebook. Hello, you two. Greetings.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Chadwick says, no news. Address my comments, Lay-Sai. So honestly, Chadwick, the reason I didn't address your comments is I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm going to continue to not address your comment, and we're going to move on with the show. But thank you, McDonald's, for taking the
Initiative?
The initiative, that the first
Roll
step
for initiative.
in acknowledging that we are ruining the planet and we should try to ruin it less and maybe not kill ourselves.
I wonder what that D&D class would be. Like, roll initiative on greenhouse gas emissions.
It is the class that
druid class.
Kobe is playing right now in Pathfinder.
Oh, that's right, because he plays a bush.
He plays a fucking undead deer thing, but all of his moves involve you smelling him.
That's hilarious, actually.
He's he's an aromamancer.
So I had read the 2 newer classes for Pathfinder. It's like a shifter and the vampire hunter. The shifter is hot garbage because it is an even more like just watered down version of the druid. Anything the shifter does, the druid can do, but better.
Sure.
And the vampire hunter is pretty cool because you can track gaseous form.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on away from things that few people that listen to this show care about.
4.
Fired FBI official authorized criminal probe of Sessions.
This was submitted by Dandy's rule okay to our politics.
So, they're talking about Mr. Andrew McCabe. There's first people were talking about it because Jeff Sessions fired him 2 days before he qualified for his full retirement and pension, which is
Dicks.
Yeah, dicks. Rude. Now, Sessions said that he fired him over basically that he wasn't providing the full amount of honesty, and he had misled some investigations through the FBI. He, of course, says, no, I didn't. But that's where we're at. But the other thing is that apparently reports are coming out that Mr. McCabe himself launched an investigatory probe against Jeff Sessions. Which, I mean, if Jeff Sessions knew about that and the little squeezely weasel that he looks like, I mean, look at that guy. He's a little weasel. He might not take too kindly to that.
Yeah, especially if he is in fact that squeezely weasel.
Well, there's already a lot of questions being brought against Jeff Sessions because of a lot of his actions, and he'll say one thing one day, say something different the next, but a lot of times when he's been questioned, his level of candor or his level of honesty and openness with the investigation, and when he was talking both at like his not appointment meeting, but when he was being
grilled, questioned,
interrogated,
yeah, exactly. They don't know if he was completely honest or not, especially because he'll say one thing under question and then say something else later. I'm sure we've all seen...
So if he's lying under oath, he can be taken out of office, though, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, one of his favorite answers now when he isn't prepared to answer you is, I cannot recall. I do not recall. I don't recall that.
That means he's going to die of Alzheimer's in a few years, right? Isn't that what happened with Reagan?
Funny thing is when he's under oath, he doesn't recall it, but literally the next day when he's just talking to someone, he remembers it perfectly.
So he's just choosing not to answer when he's under oath.
Yeah. And
if you're just gonna plead the fifth, plead the actual fifth, dude.
Nathan, I don't recall what the fifth is.
I don't recall if I can count to 5.
For someone who's all about the fucking amendments, like, you should know what the Fifth Amendment is, dude.
Which amendment lets him put people away for marijuana?
I don't think there is.
Well, give him a minute, and he'll figure out which amendment that was. Because he doesn't recall it right now, but don't worry.
He'll tell you tomorrow.
He'll tell you tomorrow
on camera.
Yeah, I mean you're not under oath if you're just on camera in front of some schmucks.
It's a lot more schmucks than I think are in the interrogation room.
There are a ton of fucking schmucks.
Yeah, but they're the ones that can actually get you in trouble.
It's not the craziest thing that happened fucking to the Trump administration today. There's another fucking dude leaving with another person coming in.
Yeah, I mean, if we're worried about them being schmucks, like, I mean, you can't lie to the actual schmucks, because if you lie to the news, then you're just going to say, oh, fake news, you guys don't matter, you're irrelevant media.
In fact, it's another draft dodger who really enjoys sending people to war.
Sessions?
No, the new guy.
Oh, I didn't read anything about that because it didn't make it into today's show, so...
I do also like that Chadwick did comment that we could go back to D&D since apparently most of our audience is filled with nerds.
Perfect. All the nerds.
He's got a point.
Every Wednesday.
3,
Tennessee man wrongly jailed for 31 years finally becomes a millionaire.
Submitted by probably misinformed to our news.
Right? So this is the story of 61-year-old Lawrence McKinney, who was put in prison 31 years ago on rape charges. Well, with modern DNA... Oh, God, sorry. It's this damn ginger ale. Anyway, with modern DNA technology, they have found out, oh, you didn't do it. Sorry, we put you in jail for your entire life.
Yeah, and if I recall right, in a lot of states, if you're wrongfully jailed, there's like a certain dollar amount you get per year that you were jailed.
It depends. In this case, he was jailed for 31 years. He wasn't even able to make the appeal until after the governor exonerated him, which, was a public declaration that he was innocent. And afterwards, he was able to seek restitution. Thank you from Jennifer in the back for being in prison. Although he doesn't actually get $1 million, $353,000 of that went to attorney's fees.
I mean, I'll still take the rest of that. I mean, that number's high, but
that's just 300,000, dude. That's not much considering that you're becoming a millionaire.
Yeah, you walked out free, and
you're not
still...
a millionaire anymore. They gave you $1 million, a third of which you pay to an attorney.
That's still enough to buy a house after. What do I care? I just walked out free and with enough money to buy a house.
Where are you buying a house at? Because depending on it might not be enough to buy a house.
How about Tennessee, like where he's from, genius?
Also, the other part of that is like most houses now, the average cost of a house is $250,000. So like,
okay, he's got $650,000. So like,
the headline still applies because it says he finally became a millionaire, right? He did become a millionaire.
For a second.
He lost it.
A hot second.
The reason that he's able to get $1 million, it's the maximum amount that can be awarded, is because he never had the opportunity to get a skill set to actually be a hireable member of society or build up anything like a retirement or a pension or anything like that. So that's what this is supposed to be. Now, that said, $650,000, especially if you want to be able to like buy a house and stuff, can go away really fast.
Hang on.
What's up?
In a monthly annuity that will pay per life starting May 1st. Huh? I mean, still making $3,000 a month.
Sure.
Like, it's not the best, but like, if you were to get a job at McDonald's and then
that's more
get
than
that.
I make.
Yeah.
No, never mind. I make a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I don't.
I make like $4,000 a month after taxes.
No, you do not.
Each one of my paychecks is like $1,000. Oh, you're right. So
Wow, math
I was thinking I get paid weekly instead of. I'm fucking tired, dude.
I love you, Nathan.
How do we count?
Oh, dude, that's
I'm real fucking
Aren't
tired.
we counting
All
from
right.
5 to 1?
yes.
2,
Saudi Crown Prince boasted that Jared Kushner was, quote, in his pocket.
This was submitted by Charging Bull to Our World News.
So, now this is more along the lines of, this is such a weak story in my opinion, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And it is about Jared Kushner, otherwise known as Ivanka Trump's husband. And he recently lost his top secret clearance, and so people have been trying to look into what he could have done with it, because there's reports that came out that he was a very, very voracious, is the word they used, reader of all of the presidential
Top secret
briefs, all of the presidential daily briefs. And then, so he has all this information, and one of his good friends was a lot of the royalty from Saudi Arabia, including going on a completely unannounced and unsecured trip to meet with 2 members of Saudi royalty, of which we have no idea what was talked about. But a very, very short time after that meeting, he came back to the United States, and then the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia arrested like 21 members of the royal family afterwards.
Oh. Well, that's subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Real fucking subtle, you know? Yeah, no, that looks real bad, though, you know?
Chadwick says weak, like Joe Biden wanting to fight with Trump. Take him down crying the whole way. So, one, he's horrible.
Yeah, I do believe you, Chadwick. Trump would go down crying the entire way.
Dude, Trump would not even square up against him.
No, of course not. He's a fucking draft dodger. He doesn't fight. He's not anywhere near in fighting
Well, he'd
shape.
be willing to fight, but his feet have problems, so he's not
No,
going to be able
he's willing to talk.
Loudly.
That's all he fucking does because he
loudly.
doesn't shut the fuck up.
Talk with those hands.
The only reason why he's raising those hands is to sign executive orders.
Damn, Nathan. Or to raise a McChicken to his mouth.
That is true.
Because he likes those McChickens. Oh, man.
Have you seen the WWE footage?
It happened. Yeah, I do remember when
Of course
Trump...
I've seen the WWE footage. That was also from like 10 years ago.
Dude, he was still 60 10 years ago.
Yeah, and a lot happens when you turn from 60 to 70.
Depends on who you're talking to, because, I mean...
He's getting older. Is he starting to feel the burn?
A lot happens when you go from 20 to 25, too.
I mean, to be fair, I think Biden is older, but Biden looks so much more in shape.
Joe Biden age. He is 75. He is older.
Also,
He doesn't look
have
75.
you seen the WWE footage? Because all of his fucking moves were garbage. There was, like, they really had to sell all of that.
How can you sell something so bad, Nathan?
I mean, he's been selling
It's fairly
for how
easy,
many years?
honestly. Have you seen old WCW or TNA?
No.
Yeah.
Listen,
it's fairly
man.
easy.
Trump's been selling out since like the 80s, so really asking him how he's going to make something sell is not a question for him anymore.
No, it's not Trump selling it. It's the other people selling what Trump was doing to them.
Not better.
Is that what they're calling it now?
It's called acting.
That's what they've called it since like the 80s.
Did they get $130,000
no
into
sell
restitution
comes
after that?
I'm talking about... Never mind. I'm talking about people trying to sell stuff that Trump does to them.
I mean, Stormy Daniels.
Damn.
It's not selling, all right? She's trying to get me.
The Cloud Act would let cops get our data directly from big tech companies like Facebook without needing a warrant.
This was submitted by Labdell to Our Technology.
So the reason that this is a problem is because it was also snuck into the Omnibus Bill. And what the Omnibus Bill is it's that really big bill that Congress signs every year that keeps the government running. It's huge. It says where a whole bunch of money goes, what things get funded, and it basically it's one of the bills that if they don't pass it, the government gets fucked.
And it's like 2,500 pages.
2,232.
And it's on page
I'm sorry, what was that?
2,201.
2,232 pages.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
And it's 30 pages from the end.
Not only that, the Omnibus Bill was released to members of Congress, and then the very next day was already up for vote on the floor.
Yeah, you cannot read that fast.
No, you can't, which is the point. And why they sneak stuff into the Omnibus Bill, because one, like, if you're voting against it, you're voting to shut down America. And two, like, you just can't get through it because it's so huge because it is the operational bill for the government.
Did you hear about the proposed bill that is to counter this?
No.
I think I told you about it earlier.
You did.
There's a proposed bill that talking about in order to stop this from happening, any bill that goes through Congress needs to be read in full in front of everyone.
Nice.
I kind of like that, although the amount of time it will spend will suck. But, like, I do like the idea of at least them hearing it out loud.
See, the thing is, though, is that, like, one, that'll never happen. It just won't because Congress, like, they don't want to sit there and listen to that. But the other thing is that so much of our government on state levels and federal levels, whether it's your state legislature or the United States Congress, they waste so much time.
I thought you were going to say they can't read.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that's still up for debate. But they waste an immense amount of time. So if you are in the state of Alaska, look up Gavel to Gavel. They are a website that just provides information, logs, minutes, and footage of the state legislature, and just look at some of the things that are being addressed. And half the time, half the room is empty. People just don't show up to things. They're still there. They're just in their office. They just didn't walk over to the floor to be present for something because they didn't agree with it. So they just sat in their office like prissy little bitches.
We need better people across the board.
We need to find a way to get rid of all the pettiness in government.
Like,
Good luck.
And it's grossly obvious.
Realistically, it's getting rid of all of the fucking corruption, but
it's
really
grossly obvious where they are.
It's painfully
because
obvious.
There are times when there are like bills and stuff being presented that are on votes for things like more money for schools or something like that, and there will be like 17 out of the 40 state representatives there. And then there was the one where they're talking about their money. All 40 of them were there, and it's like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what they care about.
And while I like the idea of the bills having to be read, it doesn't work. I mean, there's too much that is done in government. And now I realize I just said that a lot of stuff doesn't get done, and a lot of stuff is ignored and left behind.
Yeah, but how long does it take to read 2,232 pages?
You can't.
Yeah, that's a long friggin' time.
You just can't. Not in a day, anyway. Now that said, you could read it.
Yo, I wonder if they snuck in the Winds of Winter in there.
The reason that I say that is because there is very, very specific formatting that has to be done for federal documents. It has to be double-spaced, size 12, in a century font with 1-inch margins. So the amount of text that actually goes onto each page is not that much.
So could it be maybe that they could, instead of changing the law to something along the lines of it has to be read in front of everybody, could they make a law where it has to be given a sufficient time to be read?
But then you would have to determine what sufficient time is.
That's fair.
And people would actually have to, read it.
Yeah, instead of ordering somebody else to read it and giving them the Cliff Notes.
Yep.
That's fair.
So, we'll see what happens. Chadwick says that Rand Paul threatened to filibuster it. I don't know what you do here, because it's the omnibus bill. Like, it's not just some big bill. It's the bill. And they've done this before. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It sucks. It's kind of gross. It's pretty garbage. And it's the degenerate shit that our government likes to pull.
Yeah. It's real fucking shitty and scummy.
Oh, shit!
Listener submission. Peruvian President Kuczynski resigns amid corruption scandal. I have no idea
Yo,
if I
he
said
got
that.
cucked.
Damn it. I don't know if that's right or not.
It's Kuczynski.
Kuczynski? Okay.
Like the Unabomber?
Sure. Hey Nathan, who is this submitted by?
Joy Marlboro via Instagram.
Good job, buddy. So, South America's having a really hard time with the leaders of their countries. Like, you got Brazil with a corrupt president who was replaced by another corrupt president who was replaced by a slightly less corrupt president. Now the country's fucked. You got Venezuela rigging elections with a corrupt president. And now you got Peru, whose president
We got America running, with a corrupt president.
I said South America, Nathan.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, fuck, North America's pretty fucked, too.
And then
are we going to skip over Russia?
South America, God!
I'm just saying this might just be a worldwide thing. It's just that they're a little more honest about it.
And then you got South America, who the day before the vote for impeachment, the Peruvian president resigns over corruption allegations over receiving $800 million from a construction firm called Odebrecht.
800 million?
You know when you see oh yeah, well Comcast gave this
are
senator...
they American dollars?
Yes. Well, it's equivalent to 800 million American dollars.
Okay. I don't know what the Peruvians use for theirs.
But seriously, when you hear oh yeah, well Comcast bought out Senator such and such for $47,000, and it's yeah, we bought out the Peruvian president for $800 million.
Well, and my favorite part is on there. It says
Where the
it's
fuck
paid
they
by
get
a
800 million?
Brazilian
Good God.
company, so it's another country's company that's also doing it, which is even more fun.
Yeah, whatever. Why do countries even exist anymore? We're all just doing bad shit to each other all the time.
Because imaginary lines are really important. Ask any football fan.
Those aren't imaginary. The lines are on the ground.
So
do you think he just didn't get it, or he's just trolling right now?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, all of the above.
So, Good luck, Peru. Good luck, South America. Where in South America isn't fucked right now?
Chile?
Maybe. I haven't heard anything bad about Chile, right?
Ecuador?
Give them a minute.
Is Ecuador okay?
Maybe.
I think a friend of mine, I think Brendan is going to Peru. Wherever Machu Picchu is that Peru?
I don't know.
Because he's going to Machu Picchu soon. Which is kind of cool.
And this is the part of the show where Michael Googles it.
Peru.
Yes, Peru.
In the Cuzco region.
Cuzco.
Yeah.
Yo.
I hope that's
wonder if
pronounced
he's gonna
Cuzco.
get to see his awesome fucking summer home.
I mean, I'd really hope so too, because then that movie was wrong, not necessarily me.
Is Cuzco?
He's king of the world, Cuzco.
You threw up my groove.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, sir, but you have thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Yo, did you guys ever watch the TV show that accompanied that?
Yes, The Emperor's New School.
Yeah, it was actually not bad. It was
No,
pretty
it
good.
wasn't bad. Although, so I was legit just randomly thinking about that show, that movie and show the other day, right? And I was thinking about the whole scene where Kronk tries to drop the goddamn chandelier on Yzma.
Yeah.
And I had this legitimate question of was it because Kronk was stupid, or for some other reason that he always listened to her, and even in the show that took place after that, he still listened to her.
Yo, it wasn't Yzma, it was Amzi.
My point stands.
It was Principal Amzi. That's not Yzma.
He's a good person that listens to bad people. Why?
Because he's fucking dumb.
Okay, well, that's what I needed.
Because he's in politics? I mean...
Damn.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me.
Nathan, what'd you care about in the last 24 hours?
That one's a good one.
I thought
Right
so.
there.
Yeah.
But it's actually not that.
Well, you're going to go with that one anyway, and then you can do your actual one. Since I've already dropped it into the show notes, it's on YouTube now forever.
Okay, well, it's Monty Python is coming to Netflix.
Submitted by TSoupman12 to our Tech Television.
It's pretty good because I'm going to end up watching that a lot. But the thing I cared about actually was a trailer for it was a live-action trailer for the Power Rangers comic book, and it featured Jason David Frank in it, and it was fucking awesome.
I could not care less.
Yeah, you couldn't because you're uncultured, swine.
I've never liked Power Rangers.
Yeah, because you're uncultured.
I don't know who the person's name is that you just rattled off.
Michael, let me just inform you really quick that this was not about what you cared about. So if you could politely go fuck yourself.
I mean...
I love you, sir.
I gotta give him credit. It's hard to deny that.
So is this a big deal? Is it supposed to suck less than the other Power Ranger stuff that's come out recently?
So the important thing about this is that Jason David Frank is Tommy, the Green Ranger / White Ranger, and he will do anything in his power to put his Tommy back together. He wants to play Tommy more. So the important thing about this live action trailer is that it shows what could happen if they had decided to put together a live action movie for that comic book, which is awesome. Because that comic book, I believe, is a prelude to the Power Rangers movie that we got recently.
So is it going to be on Netflix, or what's it going to be on? Or
it's a comic book.
It's a live-action trailer for a comic.
It's a live-action trailer for a comic book?
Yes. It's fucking weird, I know, but you know what? I'm fucking for it. I feel like that needs to happen way more often.
This is the part of the show where the circuits don't line up in Schwann's brain.
Yeah. We're doing a live-action commercial for a comic book.
I can't wait for the comic book trailer for Pacific Rim 2.
Oh.
It's important, yo.
Oh, man.
Yo, you know what would be fucking cool if we got a live-action, not a live-action, a comic book trailer for the shit that happens in between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra.
Sure, I'd be down for that.
Because they go off on an adventure to find Zuko's mom.
I think they said that, yeah, that's a thing that's coming up, so I mean, yeah.
That's a thing that's already, like happening and shit.
Yeah.
The thing I cared about in the last 24 hours is the Deadpool 2 trailer that dropped today.
Is this for the comic?
I could care less. Look at me. I'm Michael.
Shut the fuck up. You're excited about Deadpool as well.
I'm not as excited about Deadpool as I am about Cable.
What?
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm literally talking about the movie in general.
Well, then you need to be more specific and say Deadpool 2 instead of just Deadpool.
He could have said he was excited about DirecTV.
I don't... What?
Cable.
That's a
oh,
pretty
God.
good
Jesus. Wow, that was... Oh, that was real bad.
You want to
for
know
you.
the reason why I like Cable so much?
Because he doesn't put up with Deadpool's shit?
No.
Because he's a badass.
Do you know who Cable is?
Yes, but now that you asked, I can't tell you.
Why? Is it a secret, Michael?
No. My brain just said, you know the answer to that, and then the answer flew out the fucking window.
So Cable is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey.
He's trying to remember who those people are.
I remember who Jean Grey is.
Good job.
Scott Summers is the guy who can shoot lasers out of his fucking eyes.
Cyclops.
Cyclops, got it.
Okay.
This is the part of the show where he Googles
The
it
important thing to note about their child, Cable, is that at some point, some guy came back in time and injected him with a techno-organic virus.
Cool.
A lot of convoluted comic book shit happens. It ends up being Cable going back in time to inject Cable with the techno-organic virus.
Because that makes sense.
It's comic books. It doesn't have to make sense.
It's stupid, timey-wimey bullshit.
So the important thing to note, though, is that Cable's full name is actually Nathan Summers, and that's why he is the best.
Because he shares your first name?
Yes, absolutely.
Got it.
Well, and his father is his middle name.
Yeah, but Scott Summers is kind of a shitty individual.
I mean, yeah, we knew that.
And is purposely written to be shitty. Like, he kills... okay, so comic book spoilers. He kills Professor Xavier at one point. Beast gets incredibly pissed off at him for doing this and builds a time machine and takes all of the original X-Men and brings them to the future so that they can see what Scott has become. At this point, they start asking what happens to all of them, and Jean Grey is informed that she dies. So she's like, fuck that, I'm not going back to the past, I'm going to stay here in the future.
This isn't like the weird cancer penis thing from Spider-Man, right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So she stays in the future... And the Phoenix Force is going to come to her anyways.
And people wonder why that, like, for the longest time, the mainstream thought comics were absolutely fucking ridiculous. Because somebody just referred to something as a cancer penis.
So anyways, Jean Grey now knows that she's going to be getting the Phoenix Force because she is haunted by her future self, the ghost of her future self.
What about the X-Force?
The X-Force is not... It's just... a group. It's not an actual force. It's not like the Odin Force. It is different.
Oh man, I really wish I'd graduated high school.
I'm so trolling you right now, buddy.
So the Phoenix Force is on its way to get to Jean, and Jean's like, all right, fuck, I'm going to go around talking to people who's had the Phoenix Force and figure out what I can do because, I don't want to die. So she goes...
Does it deal a lot of fire damage and revive your characters that are down?
It doesn't revive you. Well, okay, it does because it needs your body. But so she goes to Namor, and she's like, yo, Namor, how are you still sane? And Namor is like, yo, you should read my mind. And she connects to his mind, and all she hears is everlasting screams. And he's like, yeah, you're fucked.
It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk with his whole, the secret is I'm always angry, except I'm always screaming in pain and horror.
Dude. Amadeus Cho in comics, who is the other Hulk, recently punched the shit out of a Hulkbuster suit and was like, yo, anyone who's an enemy of the Hulk can come fight me because I'll fuck you up. It's pretty cool.
You make me sad.
Adam, what'd you care about in the last while?
We talked about it already today, but seeing as how I had to go and talk to probably about 15 businesses about the same thing over and over again today, probably the businesses being closed due to the whole bridge collapsing and a couple $1 million. Like, that was kind of a big deal. all this morning.
You're trying to tell me that it's expensive to live in Anchorage, so everybody lives 30 minutes to an hour outside of Anchorage, and they all take the same very small little road into town, and the 30,000 people couldn't make it?
It's still fairly expensive out there, like when it comes to gas prices coming back in and out.
Well, and because of the poor road structure setup that they have here, and because the base is set up near there, people were busy getting fucked so hard without their hair getting pulled because of this fact that they've got no other way to go, that it caused 6 hours of backup, not including the trucking companies. Like, it was bad.
It's awesome.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
Like,
our contingency plans suck.
Yeah, I mean, considering they had to air freight somebody out because of a medical emergency from an accident, like, awesome. Good job.
I like how you turned a person into cargo by saying air freight. They had to air freight them out.
I mean, if they got hit hard enough, they'd just be a vegetable and you could throw them in a crate.
I mean, he's not in the chat anymore, but people had to drag Bobby out of the street on a tarp because they couldn't help him up because he's too big.
We did the same thing to Tom when he got too drunk.
I mean, that's different.
There's a Pirates of the Caribbean line about this.
Is there?
Yeah, it's in a deleted scene, and it's said by Captain Jack Sparrow, and people aren't cargo, mate.
I mean, they are when it's a medical helicopter?
It's the reason why he was a pirate. It's revealed that he decided to not be a pirate to not be a person who's helping the East India Trading Company because they were dealing in slaves, and he does not dig slaves.
Yep, and when he refused, he let them all go. They shot down his ship, which is why they shot it down and set it on fire, which is why the Black Pearl has black sails, and he is the way he is now.
I would also like to point out that I've watched the deleted scenes for like episodes 1 and 2, or movies 1 and 2, and the amount of good stuff and relevant world building and character development that they have just cut out of those movies is astounding.
I'd also like to add Chadwick's line here: "Dead weight, Tom weighs more than most people can imagine."
Damn.
Man,
Damn.
that's...
Tom's chest just hurt a little bit, and he doesn't know why.
Probably
It's
diabetes.
definitely a heart attack.
Wait.
I didn't say I was any different. Diabetes still is a problem for a lot of people.
You're right.
Yep.
You're right.
I
What's
know.
your favorite drink from Starbucks, Adam?
What?
Frozen sugar in a straw.
I mean, what's yours?
Like a
Hot sugar without a straw.
vanilla latte. It doesn't have that much sugar in it.
No, it's got something much worse.
Milk.
Much, much worse.
All right, let's get out of here, everybody. You think sound good? Sound like a plan? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've got D&D. We're finishing up the Middle East campaign because we ended up not. And I have made the backstory and everything for my Chinese guy. The important thing to note is that he's a fighter who absolutely hates fighting.
Original.
So he's going to run around being super depressed and
Sounds
he's going to
like
be like,
Jackie
all
Chan.
right, guys, I'm going to intimidate you into not fighting me.
Please remember, everybody, you can help support this show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet or clicking one of those merchandise links available in the show notes /description. Otherwise, please follow and share the show on social media at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All of those are at iReaditCast. Video versions as well as live versions at 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Facebook and YouTube again at iReaditCast. You can download the show and take it with you to go in an audio-only format on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and anywhere else podcasts are found. 5-star reviews on any of those platforms helps the show immensely because it increases our visibility by a very substantial amount. Otherwise, you can follow me on social media at Schwahn Michael and Nathan at Bimmenstein. And that's it, everybody. That's your 449th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwahn.
And I am Herbie Hind.
And I'm Adam Weinberg.
And please remember, everybody.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 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 Oh.